In this video, I'm going to show you what technique I used to knit this sample. This is a sample I knitted in 2017 or 18 when I was working on my graduate collection. Here are some images with the garments that I made. This is a menswear collection, and I don't know if I love these garments at this moment, but at that time I thought they were really cool. But this is a really fun technique and I'm very excited to share it with you. For this demonstration, I cast on 50 stitches and I just knitted my 1x1 rib. For my graduate collection, I actually knitted myself those things that I laid in on my bed, but you can use a chunky yarn or anything you want really. It all depends on what you actually want to do with this fabric. I think this fabric would work great for accessories such as pillowcases or even bags because it gives a lot of structure to the fabric and it actually loses a bit of elasticity. So I've finished my 1x1 rib and I'm going to place all the needles in action on a ribber bed. And before that, I'm going to put my bed in half pitch. I'm going to use a chunky hand knitting cotton yarn for this demonstration. I'll just place the yarn in between the beds. When I used this technique for my graduate collection, I actually knitted those garments on a dubied machine, not a domestic, and I don't exactly remember how I managed to lay it from one side to another without the carriage getting in the way. I haven't used a dubied in quite a while and I don't remember exactly, but I think it moves more to the side and actually you can do things at the edge of the bed. Could be wrong, don't quote me on this one, but what I found for the domestic is because I don't use such a chunky yarn, I can actually lay it on top of the needles twice, and I'll show you how I do that. So I attached my yarn on the left side, my carriage is on the right side. I'm not going to pull it too much, I'm just going to lay it like that, and I will use the last needle and manually knit a stitch. And then I'll take it back to the left side. I just want to make sure when I move the carriage across, the yarn is not anywhere near the carriage. I don't want it to get trapped in the carriage, if that makes sense. On the left side, I can just place the yarn like this. And it's completely out of the way. And again, in order for it to not get stuck under the carriage or have any unhappy accidents, we can just pull the needles all the way out. And make sure that the yarn is under the needles. And now I'm going to knit 2 rows. And you can see here how the yarn kind of gets trapped underneath the stitches. And I will repeat the same. Grab my yarn and manually knit with the last needle. Take it back. Place it in between the beds so it's out of the way. And I'll pull the needles out. You can of course create different designs by manipulating the stitches on main bed. So right now the wrong side of the sample is facing me and everything that I'm going to do on main bed is going to be visible on the right side of the fabric. So depending on which bed you are used to transfer, you can of course manipulate stitches on ribber bed or on main bed. So I've transferred to have 3 needles in action, 3 needles out of action across the main bed. I will continue laying the yarn on top of the needles. You can see how here the yarn got pulled a little bit. I'm just going to make sure to put it back in place. We'll knit 2 rows. So this is me just designing on the spot. What I did was I transferred the last stitch on the left side, and now I have 2 needles in action with 4 needles out of action in between. So I transferred this stitch here, and then on the right side I'm going to place a needle back in action like that. I don't know if this is going to look nice, I'm just playing. I will knit 2 rows. And then again, I will lay the yarn on top of the needles, just like before. Knit 2 rows. And I will continue transferring like before. The first stitch on the left side, 1 stitch to the right. And then I'll place again on the right side a new stitch. So this will create a little eyelet on the right side of the fabric. I just want to see if this will look interesting. I have no idea how it will come out, but let's just see. We'll knit 2 rows. I'll just make sure to put needles back here to have to always have 3 needles in action, 3 needles out of action. So I'm just putting needles here on the edge. And here is the finished sample. My experiment actually worked. It's quite cute to have the little holes there as well. This yarn doesn't look great on camera. This yarn doesn't have any stretch in it, so when I pull like this, it's not stretchy at all. That's why I think this is great for accessories, for a scarf, or for a, I don't know, like I said before, a pillowcase. But of course you can use it for a cardigan, for example. An oversized cardigan could look really cute. And I always say, oh, I want to use this technique for a garment, but I never get the time to do it. So please do try it. And if you do, make sure to share with me. I would love to see. If you enjoy the content here on YouTube and would like to support my channel, you can do so by subscribing on my Patreon page, where I post extra content and videos and instructions for techniques from my videos. Or you can also support me via this little button, which was just enabled to me, which is a super thanks if you find anything useful. I really appreciate any support. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!